Hello, thank you for being here. I know people can hear it, but relax, okay? I don't have a microphone. I start the recording, I'm suddenly like spilling all my feelings. I moved, so it's been a while since I updated a video, but a few weeks ago or something, I put out a post for everyone, for the community. I don't know, I put it on a post, okay? And I had you guys ask me basically aroace questions, or maybe some of them are just questions for me as an aroace person or an aspec person. Some of the questions are a little long, so I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of the questions, even though it's only 17. But at the same time, imagine 17 people in front of you and they're like, hey, I have a question. Like, oh my gosh. Everyone's like, I spent so much time trying to look for my microphone, but I think I left it in the old state. Anyways, let's get into the questions. You see the first question? If that's you, put it in the comments. Niam006, how did you find a micro label? Do you occasionally question your sexuality and feel unsure about being aroace? Oh yeah, also thank you so much, LOL. Your videos make me realize I'm aroace. Congratulations on your self-discovery. You owe it all to me. I'll be accepting donations. Just like the video, okay? Make sure you like the video. That's your donation. How did I find a micro label? My micro label is being gray sexual. And how I figured that out is that I was looking at the asexual spectrum one day, and I was looking at it and I'm like, I'm not completely absent of sexual feelings. I realized, oh, so I'm not completely asexual. So I claimed gray sexuality. And technically, gray sexuality is another subcategory with categories, but I think I'm just gonna stick to gray sexual because I don't feel like I need to get into the micro label of the micro label. You can if you want to, you can go as micro as you want. So that's how I found my micro label. I was just looking at the chart and seeing within, and I don't think I started claiming gray sexuality until in my 20s, I think. Do you occasionally question your sexuality and feel unsure about aroace? Of course. Who doesn't question themselves? Even straight people must question themselves all the time. But like, that's why the term bi-curious and all that is a thing. Like, people are constantly questioning their sexuality. And the thing is, I feel like that's wonderful. I feel like that's great. Question your sexuality. You know, nothing is 100%. You know, you might see me go around here and bounce on that thing. And you totally can on the asexual spectrum. So, I don't know. Whenever I'm in doubt, I just look at myself and I look at my past and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely aspec. That's like me questioning if I'm neurodivergent, and then I look at myself and then I look at my past and I look at how I function mentally and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely neurodivergent. But yeah, I think people just question everything about themselves sometimes, and I think that's perfectly fine. Thank you, Naeem. Let me know if I'm saying that right. And if I'm completely wrong, you can curse at me. Second question, Chip M4B. Anyways, Chip. What are your favorite canon aroace character? You put it all in one word. Who does that? What are your favorite canon aspec characters? And what characters have you claimed as aroace? Do you like romance stories? Also, what games do you play? And I'm going to go by canon, like it's specifically said in the show, or it's like at least implied. Like, it's kind of like that's obviously in their character. I'm not going to go by, oh yeah, the creator of this character said that they're aroace. Like, what do you want to say, fucking SpongeBob? I'm not going to say SpongeBob. Like, yeah, my favorite aroace character is SpongeBob. Peridot, is that her name? She's green, right? Gosh, it's been a while. And I didn't even fully watch the show, but I'm pretty sure she's aroace, or she's aspec. I claimed to be aroace. I would say Luffy from One Piece. Now, I'm not the biggest One Piece fan, but as Luffy as a character, I love him. His energy, I love energetic characters. Do you like romance stories? Yes, I would say that's one of my favorite genres, especially the flirty plots where I like the cute stuff, the butterflies that people feel. I've never felt it, but I know it's real. Even if I'm playing a game and I can potentially romance someone, I probably would, because I think it's just fun. Also, what games do I play? The games I used to really be obsessed with, and I'm probably going to get back to playing, is Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Those were my games. But right now, I play Dress to Impress and Sims, and that's about it. That's pretty much 2 games that I play. Next question. Loaf OSC. Hello, Loaf. I love carbs. What's the craziest response you ever gotten after telling them or them finding out you're an A-spec? Oh, I've been told so many things. Mainly by family, really. I have a tier list of, like a tier list video and even videos in general of the weird shit people has told me. Off the top of my head, the craziest thing that I've ever been told, someone just needs to do me and I'm cured. That's basically the craziest thing that I can think of off the top of my head. But I've definitely been told crazy stuff. Kibble Plays 9174. How do you feel confident in your romantic and sexual orientation? How long did it take you to figure it out? And did you have to experiment with a lot of micro labels to figure out what fit you? I love your videos, by the way. Smiley face. What definitely is the first step for me to feel confident in my inner self is to feel confident in my outer self. That's why I feel like a lot of emo people, alternative looks, whether it's emo, goth, super femme, or super mask, or just straight up out of the ordinary type of looks, those people are usually the most likely to be queer, because once you're confident to show the world, like, I don't give a shit about what you think about how I look, then you start to not really give a shit about how people think about who you are, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. How long did it take you to figure it out, and did you have to experiment with a lot of micro labels to figure out what fit you? I started looking into asexuality when I was like 13, 12. I didn't really claim anything until after high school because I don't know, it wasn't really on my mind. And I think that's just kind of a good thing that it wasn't really on my mind, because I feel like I didn't really need to worry about that as a kid, you know? And it's not like I was ever in a safe space to do that anyways, you know, home-wise. And I didn't have to like experiment with a lot of labels because I felt like I started at the very end of the spectrum, full-on aromantic, full-on asexual, and I just went on from there. And for me, I feel like I'm full-on aromantic, so I didn't really have to work on that. But on the second part, I first thought I was full-on asexual, and then I kind of just went to the next step of like gray sexual, and I just stayed there. So, works out for me. Next question. Help girl, I'm photosynthesis. How easy or hard is it to find other aspec people? It's easy, but it's hard at the same time. The easy part is that you could just literally just go online and be like, hello, aspec people, where are you? And they're like, I'm here, hello. But the hard part is the quantity of people, you know? I feel like that's the hard part. And it's basically downright impossible if I'm trying to find people in the wild. I feel like there's definitely a lot more aspec people in the world, they're just not aware of it yet. I mean, it's a label that people aren't even aware of in general. Next question. Oh, Star Nyan. Did you ever felt the need to come out to your family, for example? Asking as an aroace myself. I never had a sit down moment where I'm like, I'm this, you know? I made YouTube videos and stuff before I even came out to people. So when people started slowly finding out, like my family would start questioning me about this and that, about my YouTube videos. And I'm just at some point, like either I would avoid the question or I would just answer, and you know, it's not fun. And I get a lot of weird questions. I'm just tired of hiding something that's not a secret. Like, it's just not a secret. It's literally just, this is who I am. So it's like, I don't want to hide it anymore. It feels stupid to hide this. So whatever question they're just like, are you this? I'm like, yes or no, you know, I just answer basically. And whenever they're like, oh, whenever you find a man, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a woman. Like I'm just fucking with them at this point sometimes. Question, actually next few questions, because Clara Berry Sosa, they asked me a few questions, I think 3. So, how do you differentiate romantic and platonic feelings without thinking about kisses? I never wanted it due to sensory issues, but I do have strong feelings sometimes, and they confuse me. So I'm still not sure if I'm aro, though I'll be arospec anyways, because the intensity is rare. Sorry for the sudden change, okay? But honestly, it's been a few days, so let's continue. I think you can kind of tell the difference between like you're in love with someone or you like someone versus like a platonic feeling. I don't know, when you love someone platonically, it's like you don't want to kiss them, you don't want to hug them in a certain romantic way, or I don't know, maybe it's a little bit hard for me to differentiate because I've never felt romantic feelings before. Maybe someone else in the comments can answer this question better than me. Another question we have is, what are your thoughts on culture like dragons, garlic bread, cake, and invading Denmark? Guys, I think they want me to invade Denmark. Dragons, cool. Garlic bread, it's alright. Cake, I like tres leches. I'm not really a cake person though. And another question you have, do you use the arrow and or ace rings? I was going to at one point, I never got them. I love me. How do you find out if you're aroace? Because I never really had a crush on anyone, but one time I thought I had a crush on this one guy, but I don't know if I really did because I might have just wanted to be friends because I think like kissing is gross, not gonna lie. But relationships seem cool, but at the same time I don't really get that hype, and I don't care about people's gender, and I don't really feel like I'm attracted to gender. And at my school, everyone's all my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that, and I'm like, ugh, shut up, I'm so confused about my sexuality. There's no punctuation anywhere in this. I feel like I was just like this in high school. I'm gonna assume you're like school age, you know, give yourself a little bit of time to adjust and how you feel and what you're experiencing and how you think, and just think about that. Just like feel it out while you're young. It's kind of hard to tell, like when you're in school, you know, things are very confusing, and I'm not saying you can't claim any kind of label or anything until you're an adult. You might figure it out before you're an adult, but if you're still struggling to figure out your sexuality and stuff, you know, you don't have to rush it. There's no timer, you know. Be confused as long as you need to be. I didn't completely figure out my sexuality until, well, just this year. I was trying to figure out if I was bisexual or pansexual, and I'm still not 100% sure, but I didn't even realize I was bisexual or anything until like 2 years ago, and I'm 24, just turned 24. But yeah, man, don't rush it. It's fine. You're fine. Focus on all the crazy high school stuff and friends and stuff like that. Just enjoy high school, middle school. I keep saying high school, but I don't actually know. I'm just thinking because that's when I was mainly thinking about that kind of stuff. It was in high school. Next question, the disaster master. Garlic bread or cake? Cake. I don't really like garlic bread, okay? Stop asking me. Tuso BHA. How do you know whether or not you're asexual? Recently I confirmed I was a part of the aromantic spectrum, but I've never had sex before, so how can I know if I'm ace? I do get sexual thoughts or please myself sometimes, so I can't confirm. I would say I'm in the same exact boat, but I am also gray sexual. I go by how I think, how I used to think, how I feel about having sex with someone, how the thought of it, how much I don't think about it, how much I don't really care if I ever do it. People will say that maybe you just need that one-time experience to start caring, but I feel like even with my whole life, how I thought about sex was way different from other people in the way how much I don't think about it and how much I don't want. I just don't care. Because sometimes you may have to have that experience to start having urges, I guess, but sometimes like I feel like you're still on the asexual spectrum if you had to have that experience just to be interested in something that usually people are naturally interested, because you know about the horny virgins. It's kind of hard to explain because it's kind of like I can't really tell you this is how you have to feel in order to be in the asexual spectrum, because like I said, it is a spectrum. In this comment alone, I will have to make a whole video about it. Maybe there's some people in the comments that can add more to what I said, because I can't really get into all of it. Okay, I know this is another change, okay? But I forgot one question, and I think like I can't just answer everybody else, and there's just that one question I didn't answer. If this is your question, consider yourself very special, and also, why were you hiding from me? Because when I was looking through the comments, I did not see your comment at first. This question is by Rivers572. How do you deal with being aroace in an amatonormative society? How has society standards that everyone should be in a romantic relationship affected you? It used to really affect me when I was first accepting being aromantic or being asexual or being aspec, you know, especially being completely aromantic. In the beginning, I used to be really afraid that, oh no, I'm gonna be alone, I'm gonna die alone, because like that's pretty much the first thing people respond when you explain to them that you're aromantic or you're aspec, and they're like, won't you be lonely? I started to think, I'm like, yeah, won't I be lonely? Because I won't have the safety net of a relationship. I do this because a relationship is much more than a safety net. I'm just saying that. But I won't have the safety net of a relationship that will secure that I will never be alone. And same thing with a relationship. It's like, well, if you don't have any friends, at least you still have your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever. My fear was that, like, well, if I don't want to have a partner, that means I'm gonna be alone. It's even more of a distant feeling or thought when people talk about marriage with me, because I've never even wanted it. Like, I've never thought about marrying someone or being in a relationship with someone. I mean, I think about it when it's brought up, or it's just like when people question it, or if I'm thinking about being aromantic. I'm never thinking about relationships or marriage, at least not naturally. So the thought when people are talking about marriage with me, I'm just like I have no connection to it whatsoever. Like, just being queer in general makes you feel a little bit like an outsider, but sometimes being aroace makes you feel like an outsider even more sometimes, because everyone's heard of what being gay is, or being a lesbian, or being bisexual. Everyone's heard of that. And at some point, it's even hard to be seen as a thing, even in the queer community. It's definitely one of those things that it's hard for people like everyone else to understand or grasp on. It took me a while to accept that people won't understand. I used to feel hurt about being different or about thinking I'm gonna be lonely, but I just accepted that I just have to prioritize things differently in my life than how other people prioritize things. Because a lot of people prioritize marriage and relationship and having kids, but I can't prioritize things the same way other people prioritize things, because then I would feel empty. I would feel like something's missing because I'm trying to be like everyone else. So I learned to prioritize friendship, prioritize what I do with my life, myself, you know? That's just me personally. Like, you could still be aspec and still want marriage and still want kids and stuff, but not me. I think even if there's a possibility that I want children, I'm gonna adopt children. So, but it's not really something that I'm prioritizing. It's just more of a, well, if I'm older and if I'm ever thinking about having children, like, I'm just like, you know what, maybe I do want to take care of somebody. Like, I've put more thought into that than marrying someone or being in a relationship. The only reason that I'm even thinking about possibility of children, even adopting, is because I enjoy taking care of children. But as of now, society standards that everyone should be in a romantic relationship, it does not currently affect me. But yeah, it took me some time to deal with it, I guess. But mainly what made me have more of a hard time is being lonely or being depressed or anxiety, you know, overthinking things, you know, things that kind of affect me as a person. So I tried to work on those things, like work on my loneliness by making more friends, working on my depression, and working on my anxiety with a medication, or working on my life. I care about trying to have good morals and trying to be a good person or being a decent person. I think I answered that question. That's all the comments that I got. That was really fun. Please leave a like, please subscribe, and definitely leave a comment if you have anything that you can relate to in the video, or if one of the questions are yours. Let me know if you liked my answer or not, because I know that some of them maybe it was a little bit off, but honestly I just kind of had to think on the dome. You know, usually my videos are scripted, so I have a little bit more thought. I need to go. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.